Hi everyone, I hope you're well. I think the sound quality on this is a lot better. This is my old laptop, and I'll probably keep using this. The only downside is the upload time takes absolutely forever. My last video, I think, was 9 minutes, and it took, well, 4 hours. I mean, that's ridiculous. So the upload time on the old video might have been, for a 9 minute video, I guess, 5 minutes, literally. So it is very extensive. That's the downside. But I'll still do it because I want the quality to be good. Okay, I'm going to make two videos which are sort of related, but I will break them up because I don't want to conflate the issues too much. This first video, sad news today from Ukraine. I'm just going to read out the BBC report. That would be the easiest way to do this, and I'll try and put a link if I can. But I want to know a little bit more about some of the wider issues around this. This is from the BBC website. I'll just show you actually the report that I'm reading out. It's actually my other laptop. This is what I usually use, in fact, so you can see what it looks like. Okay, Ukraine. Chris Parry and Andrew Bagshaw killed in Solidar rescue attempt. The reports by Andrei Rodin Hall. British nationals Chris Parry and Andrew Bagshaw, who were reported missing in eastern Ukraine, have been killed, their families have said. Mr Bagshaw, 47, and Mr Parry, 28, were last seen heading to the city of Solidar on the 6th of January. Mr Bagshaw's family said the pair were attempting to rescue an elderly woman when their cars were hit by a shell. The family of Mr Parry said the man had died while attempting a humanitarian evacuation. Earlier this month, the Russian mercenary group Wagner claimed the body of one of the two men had been found. Solidar had been the focus of intense fighting, and earlier this month, Russia's military claimed to have captured the Ukrainian salt mine town after a long battle. In a statement issued by the UK Foreign Office, Rob, Christine, and Kate Parry wrote, "It is with great sadness we have to announce that our beloved Chrissy has been killed along with his colleague Andrew Bagshaw whilst attempting a humanitarian evacuation from Solidar, eastern Ukraine." Speaking of Mr. Parry, originally from Truro in Cornwall, they said his selfless determination in helping the old, young, and disadvantaged there has made us and his larger family extremely proud. We never imagined we would be saying goodbye to Chris when he had such a full life ahead of him. He was a caring son, fantastic brother, a best friend to so many, and a loving partner to Olga. Chris was a confident, outward-looking and adventurous young man who was loyal to everyone he knew. He lived and worked away as a software engineer, but Cornwall was always his home. He loved rock climbing, cycling, running, and skydiving, and wanted to travel the world. He found himself drawn to Ukraine in March in its darkest star at the start of the Russian invasion and helped those most in need, saving over 400 lives, plus many abandoned animals. It is impossible to put into words how much he will be missed, but he will be forever in his hearts. He feels so privileged that he chose our family to be part of. Mr. Parry and Mr. Bagshaw have been in the Donetsk region of eastern Ukraine doing voluntary work. Scientific research. Mr. Bagshaw was a British national but also lived in New Zealand. He had been a volunteer in Ukraine since April. His parents, Liam Sue and Professor Phil Bagshaw, said the men had been delivering food and medicines and helping the elderly. In a statement released via news outlets, they said Mr. Parry and Mr. Bagshaw were attempting to rescue an elderly woman from Solidar, so that collaborates what the other family said. In an area of intense military action when their car was fired until the shell. Andrew selflessly took many personal risks and saved many lives. We love him and we are very proud indeed of what he did. They added, the world needs to be strong and stand with Ukraine, giving them the military support they need now to help rebuild their shattered country after the war. Sherilyn McRory, the Conservative MP for Truro and Falmouth, tweeted, "My deepest condolences to the family of my constituent Christopher Parry. His death in Ukraine has been confirmed by the Foreign Office. I thought with his family at his hand and I understand they're receiving support from Foreign Office staff. The Foreign Office has previously warned against all travel to Ukraine, saying there's a real risk to life. British nationals still in Ukraine should leave immediately if safe to do so," it said. Mr. Parry previously spoke to BBC Radio Cornwall on the 2nd of January from the Bakhmut area in eastern Ukraine, I think that's the area that actually resembled Passchendaele. The fighting was so intense. There were trenches, there were trees that were shattered from the fighting. It actually resembled Passchendaele at the end of last year. To be able to get them out of these war-torn areas, it makes it definitely more worthwhile than anything else I can imagine. He said, on the 3rd of January, 3 days before the volunteers disappeared, Mr. Parry told a freelance journalist he'd been volunteering as an evacuation driver. He said, I received requests from family members who asked us to go and collect their relatives. A lot of volunteers won't go anymore, but there are people there who want to get out, so I'm willing to go. Um, there's a lot to say with this. Heroes. I mean, I really have no problem calling them that. Probably it's a term they themselves would reject, because they're probably ordinary guys. You know, they have hobbies, they've got families. They're not that old expression, heroes don't come in capes. But, you know, it is an exceptional thing to do, to uproot a comfortable life in the UK, to go to a war zone to help people. Now, technically, it may go against Foreign Office advice, but importantly, these guys are not mercenaries. They weren't there to fight. They're there for humanitarian reasons. Um, Although I do believe there's just war in fighting in Ukraine, but that's another issue. These guys were aid workers. You know, they weren't attached to the Ukraine Foreign Legion or anything like that. Or maybe they worked with them, but they were there for humanitarian purposes. And this reiterates obviously the dangers of this sort of work, but you know, there's people who will live to 90 and not do what these guys done. So I just hope their family gets some comfort from that. I mean, it'll be unimaginably difficult for them, um, but I just hope they get some peace in knowing that many, many, many people will admire what they've done. Not just Ukrainians, people in the UK, many people reading this around the world. There is, of course, Putin propagandists, which I'll be touching on in the next video, but I think it's important to be positive as much as you can in a tragic situation like this, which is that wherever there's evil in this world, there's good people. Now, I remember during the Syria conflict, not that that's over, the White Helmets, again, you know, they were vilified in some quarters, they were misrepresented, but again, they were humanitarian workers. They were. Um, the claims made against them by Russian state media were largely baseless, that they were terrorists and so on. So again, there will be some pro-Russian sources claiming these guys were mercenaries, and I'll touch more on that in the next video. But um, I just have so much admiration for people who are selfless like this. It's something that I haven't ruled out myself, but there are some other things you need medical experience, you need. It's not simple getting there, and technically the Foreign Office does warn against it. So you know, if you ended up in Russian custody, it's difficult. It's a difficult situation. Um, but I just have such respect for them, and I hope something could be done in their honour. But you know, aid workers like this are really they're pretty near the top of the sort of people I admire. Frontline journalists as well. Journalists sometimes die in war zones, and again, they're people I have enormous respect for. Um, of course, I respect the armed forces, but the difference is they have weapons; they can defend themselves. With aid workers and journalists, they have no weapons, so it's just extraordinary what they do. I hope their local towns can maybe have something in their honour, some sort of memorial or something, just to remember these men. Um, Sadly, they probably won't be the last ones. But that's it. I just have such respect for them, and I really hope their families can have some peace knowing that they did help people. It's not like they went out there in futility. They actually did help people, and there will be people today who owe their lives to men like Chris Parry and Andrew Bagshaw. So yeah, I call them heroes, and I've nothing but respect for them.